Oh, that's tight. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I love this beat so much. Oh my God, I love this beat. Some beats is just nice. Oh my God, I love talking. Why did I stop talking? I will never know. I'll never understand why I stopped talking. These big extra plug beats. Whoo! Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Happy Saturday to y'all. Hopefully y'all feeling good, feeling great. Welcome to you live from the lab. I'm out here just talking my shit, getting shit off my chest, getting things that are deep within me and letting them just go into the world, you know? We don't really get the time to do that. I just like, you know what I'm saying? Don't got sound. All right, cool. It's all good. It's all good. We'll get that all fixed. Don't worry. Here we go. Oh. Listen. If it ain't one thing, it's another. And that's the thing about this phone. I put the sound on. Hold on. This is what we'll do. I got an idea. Hey, let me know. This is what I'm going to do. I can just put the link to the YouTube in here. That'll be a lot easier than me over here trying to get things going. Let me see. Hold on. I'm going to close y'all out. Here we go. No, it's all right. It's all right. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Listen, everybody feeling good out there. Hope you're feeling good on this beautiful Saturday. You can be anywhere in the world, but for some reason you sitting here listening to me. Watch me give it up. Watch me talking crazy. Watch me talking flagrant. I'm here just checking the streams, make sure everything's moving copacetically. Want to make sure everything's going a plan. Let's listen to another type beat. Listen. I got another one for y'all. Don't worry about it. I got another type beat. I got another one. Hold on. This one, like this right here. Oh. I gotta put my password in the phone because they won't let me stream. They won't let me stream fucking from everywhere at the same time. So I have to essentially put in my phone, and then after I put in my phone, hopefully it works. Let me see. There's no sound check on this thing. Hopefully everybody's feeling good today. Let me know how you're feeling. 1 to 10, 1 to 10, 1 to 10, 1 to 10. Some things just don't ever change. Some things remain the same. It's all the same thing. Gang banging on a strange. I don't know. I can't rap to save my life. Even if somebody put a gun to my head, I promise you I could not get one bar off. Not one bar. I'm telling you. We are here for the entertainment. We are here for the vibes. We're here for all that good stuff. Oh, my God. Let me see. How do I check this? Let me go. Maybe I can just go to my settings in my phone. Because I want to sit here and talk to you guys. I want to have a long conversation. But it's not going to be too long because I got gigs. We got to get the money. We got to, Queens, get the money. Microphone on. Camera on. There we go. Allow tracking. Listen, I got all the data. I don't know what it is. Dang. Oh, well. We can try again. Hopefully it works this time. I can go ahead and go to my phone real quick. Listen, we can go ahead. Make sure everything's all copacetic. Oh, it does work. There we go. Cool. Yeah. All right, cool. We back in here. We live. Audio's up. Audio's moving. Let me go ahead. Let me check YouTube real quick. Let me make sure YouTube is vibing. Because if YouTube's vibing, then we already know we doing good. Yeah. Hold on. We're going to run that beat back. What I want to do is start doing like DJ sets before we get this thing all going and everything. But I'm worried that a DJ set isn't going to go the way I have planned in my mind. Here we go. Yeah. Saturday morning stream. Blah, 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 blah. Blah, blah, blah. Saturday morning stream. We're going to keep everything going. Oh, I'm hearing myself in the back. I got to turn me off. Listen. I just want to talk a little bit. We're going to talk a little politicians. Talk about politicians. Where are my glasses, bro? Oh, my God. If y'all only knew the days I've been having for the past few days, y'all will understand what the fuck is going through my head, but I promise you I'm going to get through it. I'm doing this new thing, right, where you become like a real potter because you be going through real shit in life, but you can't talk about the real shit. You kind of just have to talk about the shit that's just kind of, I don't know, entertaining per se. But also in this entire process, I want to sit here, I want to talk to you guys about just politics. But before we get started with politics, I'm gonna do a little icebreaker. Now the icebreaker, those be fun, right? Because I want to use them as almost self-therapy. So I went on ChatGPT and I looked up a list of questions that somebody you would ask somebody, or a therapist would ask you in the midst of them trying to learn themselves. Because the therapist that I wanted, shouts out Eric Lord. He's incredibly busy right now, so I don't really get the time to really express how I'm feeling to him, because guess what? He got things to do. But right after he gets through his craziness, I promise you, I'm going to be back sitting in the lab talking to him, getting my emotions from out of my head and in my heart in an organized, professional manner, because I do understand the importance of therapy, and I think that everybody should understand how therapy works, because guess what? It's a little important. But because we got budgeted therapy right now, we're going to use a little bit of ChatGPT to come up with some questions for this beautiful icebreaker. You know, like today's episode, for those just now tuning in, it is called, I forgot, Ballots and Bills, the Brokesman's Guide to Picking a President. I think that's really interesting. I think a lot of us like to have conversations about, like, president. Oh, shit. There we go. Uh-oh. Hopefully it don't fall. Whatever. I'm not worried about that. We're looking at this camera because this is where I got to get the clips from. But like I said, today we'll be talking about presidents and politicians and things like that. It's nothing new. You've seen this before in the news cycle. It's not a new concept. It's not a new phenomenon. But what's different this time is that now we are watching. Wait. The beat was supposed to stop. Listen. I'm a work in progress. Very much like therapy. I want this hoodie to stay on my fucking head. Fuck. I don't have anything. I don't have any other hoodies. Let's do a little bit of housekeeping real quick, though. Before we actually get everything going, first things first, make sure if you saw the video, maybe I didn't make it clear enough. All my cone product, that's all the stuff over there, except for that one cream hoodie. I'm not getting rid of that one. That one ran me too much money. But if you're on my YouTube, you can kind of see the entire room in its totality. You can kind of see my paintings and everything I got going on. But I'm getting rid of all my cone product, you know. In the midst of me finding therapy and learning myself, I've actually taken the time to see what are the worst parts about me and how do I get rid of them, how do I diminish them, and how do I make my strong suits about me and how do I make them stronger, better, faster, stronger, as Daft Punk would say. But you can only do that by getting rid of the old and create the new. And in that process, I realized CONE, which was my acronym, which the CONE, but spells con. It was an acronym for Connoisseur of Noetics, which means people of higher thought. But I realized one of the most unhigher thought things you can do is say that you're having conversations around higher thought. It's kind of an oxymoronic kind of concept. It's kind of like if I had a business called Bad Bitches Unite, you know, BBU, whatever, right? But if you're really a baddie, you don't have to announce that you're a bad bitch because it's already implied. So me saying I'm a connoisseur of noetics is almost counterintuitive. So I was like, you know what? It's time for me to get rid of it. It's time for me to get rid of cone, everything, all that. And it's time for me to just go by my name, my God-given name that my dad gave me, Muhammad Malcolm Cook, and just move forward with that. So that's the so like I said, my loss is y'all's win. If you do want any product, I kid you not, it is free of charge. We got all kinds here. I'm gonna show y'all some things real quick. Wham. Hold on. I got so much shit, y'all. It's kind of crazy. So I got like track jackets, right? I got track jackets. I kind of embroider cone on them, free of charge. Now, if I got to deliver it to you, it's $5. It's $5 within Bakersfield. If you out of town, you got to pay for all the shipping. Another thing, I got this red jacket. You know what I'm saying? I think this is pretty cool. Sorry for those on Instagram. I don't know how to fix that camera, so I can't really help you with that. Also, I got my hoodies. You know, really simple white hoodie, pretty straightforward. A champion hoodie. I thought that was pretty cool. Then I also have the Harley Davidson tee. I think those are pretty cool. I embroidered on that. Harley Davidson. Oh no, regular Sloppy Joe's tee. All kinds of product, y'all. Like it's really a bunch of shit. So, yeah, I just want to get rid of everything. I want to get rid of the old, bring in the new, and just become who I'm destined to be. Yeah, I think this is all part of growth. So which takes me to the first part of my entire Ballots and Bills conversation. Today, I want to talk about the one and only. We're gonna open this up on an icebreaker question that I learned. And mind you, I'll let you guys know the prompt. This is the prompt that I put in to Chat GPT to kind of understand how to understand a budget therapy kind of conversation, right? So the prompt I put in was oh no, that's the answer. What did I put? Damn. I said a list of 21 questions someone can ask themselves. No, excuse me. A list of 21 questions that a therapist might ask you in therapy for a better understanding of yourself as a man. You know, I love ChatGPT. I'll be honest with you guys. Also, Hannah, I do. Hold on, real quick. I did. I thought so. Hold on, y'all. Here's one in support of today. USA hoodie. You know, whatever. It's something kind of cool. Whatever. I'm sorry. I got to announce. Hannah asked, do you have any crew necks? And I do have a few. There's some over there. I got to look for them. But let me stay focused. The prompt I put in is here's a list of I need a list of 21 questions that a therapist might ask you in therapy for a better understanding of yourself. Because like I told you guys before, the therapist I want is a little busy right now. So I'm just going to kind of start the ball on therapy. I would love to do a show with me and the therapist, very similar to Jada Pickens' Red Table Talk. Contrary to all the bullshit that show came with, I think it did more value. I think it did more good than bad. You know, I thought Will Smith he shot himself in the foot with the Chris Rock thing. I think we kind of all forgot about the August Alsina entanglement situation. But I do think that was a very influential show. I think that it started a lot of conversation. I think it set the tone of what podcast and streaming was going to look like for the remainder of the year. So, So essentially, what I wanted to do is kind of like use that same business model, and I wanted to ask myself questions. I don't really have a red table. I don't really have a like a narrator to really talk to throughout this. Not yet. I will. But what I can do is I can open a question or maybe 1 to 3 questions, and maybe you guys can ask yourself this too. I'm going ahead. I'm going to throw it in the YouTube comment section real quick. See, I knew this battery was going to die. I knew it. And I'm going to go ahead and throw it in the YouTube comment section. So what does being a man mean to you, and where do those beliefs come from, right? So that's question number 1. What does a man mean? Hopefully it goes through. What does a man mean? What does being a man mean to you, and where do your beliefs come from? All right. So the truth of the matter is like being a man to me is not so much in your traditional, like, I want to say just not like in a traditional Christian or type of format. I think for me, being a man has more to do with, I think it just has to do with responsibility. You know, if I'm thinking like handling responsibility with creating the least with zero. You're watching me build this plane as I fly it, y'all. Being a man to me is essentially being for the better of the bigger program. So, for example, being a man in the workplace means you'll do whatever it takes to make sure that the team as a whole will be able to be stronger the next day, if that makes any sense. You will do whatever it takes to help the team be in a better position than they were the day before. I think being a man in a sense in a family is pretty straight self-explanatory. I think it's providing emotional, financial, any other type of shoal words to make sure everybody stays copacetic, but also understanding in the process of you doing it, you're not necessarily I think that sometimes while you're doing it, you're not necessarily always going to be understood. I don't think the men before are any stronger than the men today. I just think that they had a lower tolerance for the understanding of emotions and vulnerability. So, I know this sounds like a word stew right now. I'm making a word jambalaya with my thoughts, but that's really like the best way for me to kind of say it. It's being a man to me is just a responsibility, you know, and that's where I've been trying to understand and trying to get a better understanding of what I've been trying to get a better understanding of who I am internally as a man. I think that, and the question is, where do those beliefs come from? I think the cliche answer would be, oh, my dad, right? Most guys' understanding of being a man generally comes from their father, right? But for me, the origin of it obviously comes from my dad. But I think as we sit down and really understand my thought process, I think it comes from also trust within myself. I accept that my definition of being a man isn't the only definition of being a man. I also do understand that my dad's definition of being a man is completely different than probably my grandfather's definition of being a man. I think everybody has their own kind of little nuance to it. But I can say my dad was probably the first seed to plant it, but I think ever since I hit 19 and lived on my own, I kind of created my own space of what I thought a man should be, how they should act, and how they should manage and maneuver life. So that's my kind of hot take on it. I mean, not hot take. That's kind of just my take on being a man. We're gonna do one more question. I really do like these. It's causing me to look inside while I talk and look inside myself. So when I do start getting back into therapy and paying for these expensive therapists, I kind of have a foundation to build off of. How would you describe your relationship with vulnerability? I think, honestly, I've always considered vulnerability to be my superpower. However, I think that in more recent than ever before, I think that right now I'm running away from it, if that makes any sense. I'm running away from my vulnerability more now than ever before because there's just more responsibility in my life. And when you're learning to cope with, or when you're learning to manage more responsibility, you sometimes don't get the time to feel the vulnerability and feel every steps of your life the way at the same level of you were as if I was single, or when I was single and living on my own with no dependence. I think that's even what made the show so fucking great back in the day, was because I was able to be vulnerable and tell these deep stories, and without having to think about other people's participation into the entire operation. So yeah, I think to go back to the question, I lost y'all for a second. I lost the visuals. Hold on. We gonna get that. Don't worry, y'all. I think that my relationship with vulnerability has definitely, like I said, it has evolved as I gotten older. I think, to be completely transparent, I think I'm becoming less vulnerable the older I become. I think it's just a lower tolerance for bullshit, and because I'm just want to make it to the next day, and I'm just trying to maneuver my bottom row of Maslow hierarchy of needs, I think that I don't really have the time to experience and feel at the same capacity I did when I was younger, because you don't get the same level of grace when you're an adult man versus being a young man, which takes me back to my first question, which is, what does a man mean to you? Yada, yada, yada. Rewind it back. The stream will be available. You can watch what I said on that. But anyways, getting back to it. On man conversation, y'all, I want to talk about politics a little bit, but not politics in the sense of like I know what the fuck I'm talking about. I have zero idea what I'm talking about. So if you at any point disagree with me, right? And I'm trying to, damn, this shit. Hold on, y'all. I got a light falling and a camera falling right now. You know what? Fuck it. We just gonna cook like this. We want to talk about politics in a sense because I think that it's important. Let me go ahead and throw that other question in the comment section on vulnerability, because I want to make sure everybody kind of saw. I want everybody to know what we covered. So if they ever want to go back and just erase or go back and watch, they can have the chance to do it. But politics for me this year has been such an interesting run. This is the first time ever. I've never seen so much celebrity involvement on a politic level. I remember back in 04, 03, contrary to your view of him today, Puff Daddy Combs had the campaign Vote or Die, which kind of influenced a whole new youth campaign to get people to vote. I don't even remember what election that was. It had to be Bush. It had to be Bush Gore. It had to be one of those eras, one of that time. But that was my first time ever hearing about what voting is and its importance. When watching Diddy do those campaigns, I was trying to figure out why he kept on shimmying everywhere to try to get us to vote for somebody or have an opinion on politics. But now that I'm Now that I'm a little bit older, I have a better understanding of it. I think that the issue today is uh, there's, and it's not an issue. I think, let me slow down. I think the what's different about today is that we're seeing more involvement than we ever have before in our life from people who I don't really think know politics. Or at least we've never seen their involvement. Maybe if they do know, we've never personally seen their involvement in politics. You know, seeing Cardi B give her take on Donnie. You know, watching. You know, I'm happy to watch. You know, I'm happy to see this. We got Sexy Red endorsing her president pick, and we're seeing all this in overall involvement from just artists and celebrities in politics. But I kind of do question, is that hurting or helping the big picture, right? So, for example, let's say that somebody watches me. They're like, you know what? I love the Mo Cook Show. Muhammad he's an outstanding voice. I think he speaks to exactly what I want and what I'm trying to do. I want to hear his take on presidents, right? Cool. You have to remember with a grain of salt that I am a entertainer. So it is my job not to BBC you, not that BBC, relax. But BBC, the news channel, not BBC you to death, not CNN, Fox, or anything, but just kind of give this kind of tongue-in-cheek approach towards what I think how I think politics should maneuver. So the issue is, if you have too many of me's in one, I think if you have too many of me's in a room, I think that we can sometimes create, how do I say this? We can backpedal a little bit. I think that when things become trendy, they lose their leverage and they lose their relevance. So I think that watching people such as, you know, Sexy Red, one of my favorite artists, watching her give her take on presidents, it's one of those eerie things. I think, and now mind you, I don't want to make it look as if I'm picking on women. Like, understand, this is a male thing as well. We're watching LeBron James. You know, he gives out his official endorsement for President of the United States. You know, I think watching our NBA players and watching these people that we consider to be influential in our era or in our time, I think it's just eerie. I think that Hannah says, I think social media is also a reason why we see more involvement. I'm curious to know if endorsements always existed, but they weren't like breaking news. And you know, that's a really good question. I don't remember reading any or hearing any when back during the television era. I'm not going to say they didn't exist, but I don't think they happened at this capacity. You know, I think the only people who should manage the presidential election should be like platforms. I think watching Shannon Sharp have the interview with Kamala, I think that was influential. I think Joe Rogan with Trump, I think that's really influential. I think those are the people who should be able to maneuver the conversation appropriately with an element of nuance, very tongue-in-cheek, to let you make the decision on yourself. I think, because I'm not saying LeBron James does not have the capabilities to give a politician or give a political conversation. I'm saying that for those who follow his political views because you like the way he shoots, I think we're starting to walk into murky waters. You know, that's where I think things get a little sticky. There's a little bit of nuance in that. So, you know, just watch as we're going through this presidential election. Just please watch who you're supporting. I'm not going to tell you who to vote for, because to be honest with you, if you guys even read the comment or the episode title, this is kind of the broke man's guide towards picking a president. And where I have struggles today with the presidential conversation is is the fact that I don't know how things directly affect me, right? So, all right, full transparency. When I see myself as a successful man, when I see what that success looks like, as scarily as this sounds, I see Trump-like behavior. And why am I saying this? I grew up off of Donald J. Trump, but not Donald J. Trump, the politician. I grew up off of him as the apprentice, the celebrity, the business guru. In fact, he's one of the few people that I can honestly He's one of the few people that I can honestly say whose books I read as a kid. I used to actually read them on my way to Compton College. I lived in Mid-City, Washington Crenshaw, and I used to take like 3-4 buses to Compton College, was to take an automotive course for me to kind of get ready for what I thought was going to be my automotive engineering career. So if anybody knows, if you're ever taking the, I think that would be a La Brea bus. I don't even remember if I could do it today. I don't even remember how to do it. But if anybody knows anything about taking the bus to the subway to the next bus, you understand you have an ample amount of time to really do whatever the fuck you want. And I would put on my headphones and I would read Think and Grow Rich, was it Think and Grow, or How to Think Like a Billionaire. And I would read that day in and day out because I really did believe that I had the capabilities, the skills, the follow through, and the tenacity to become a billionaire. And I still believe that today. But as I get a little bit older, I'm starting to see the smoke in the mirrors of him as a character and him as a politician. Now, him as a marketer, outstanding. He's one of my favorite people when it comes to marketing. I think that Trump exhibits what modern media looks like today, which is why he's able to be on certain platforms and make and shake so many cages. But sometimes I get a little eerie of that when it comes to navigating political conversation. Now, this is where, when navigating just politics. Now, this is where I watch Kamala kind of shine. Kamala is who I am if I followed all the rules the way I was supposed to. She came up in being a senator, involvement in San Francisco, whether you liked it or not, whether you agree or disagree about the involvement, time is the biggest influence of someone's capability to perform a task. So, yes, Donald J. Trump does not come from traditional politics, but that nigga comes from traditional marketing. And because of that, he was able to win himself a president term 4 years ago. Kamala comes from traditional politics, whether Ivy Leagues, everything of that nature. And so she kind of knows how to manage the nuance, the conversation of what it takes to be a president. Now, some people may disagree with this, but okay, I'm gonna rewind a little bit. We kind of talked about this on the last episode. The reason why I like Bronny in the NBA is because I do like the idea of a father-son dynamic in professional sports. I think that it encouraged some men to probably step up in their fatherhood space, not so much me. I love my son. But I also understand representation and what that can do for the betterment of just people walking to the fatherhood space. If you don't have kids, let me tell you right now, being a dad is one of the most thankless, hardest jobs that you will ever go through because you are going to be learning, like I said before, you're going to be building and flying at the same time. You want the best for everyone, but it's just sometimes not possible. I'm going to fast forward that into Barack Obama, right? So I was in senior year of high school. I was about to go to college. This was right before I was taking the bus to the Compton College. You got to understand, I was taking that time. Slow down, Muhammad. Sometimes I get all riled up. I was really scared at that time because I didn't really know a lot about myself, but I always knew how to work hard, which is something that I know I still face today. But I remember in 2012 seeing Barack Obama just go through campaigning, Shepard Fairey, better known as Obey, doing the graphics. I remember being on Melrose when he won. Some of my closest friends, Miles and Michaela Shannon, they were literally one of the biggest influence of just like Obama during the Obama era. And I could never understand. I didn't understand what representation and how that affected me because here I was, I'm getting ready to move out the house. I'm 17, 18 years old. I don't really know what my next steps are going to be, but I do know it's possible for me to become something because why? I saw this black man become president and I said, if he can do some shit, I know I can be an engineer. So I do see the importance of representation in this entire ecosystem and this world that we live in today. So now, where does the middle fall for me? Where, like I said, with today's overall topic, I'm gonna make sure I say the title correctly. Ballots and Bills. The broke man's guide to picking a president. Is I ask myself, what is more important? Is it representation, or is it who I want to become? Right? Kamala and Trump is the perfect mix of who I am. one side of me, I can say I have all the accolades to be a CMO, chief marketing officer, of probably any business or any corporation today. Between meeting points, meeting key points, meeting expectations, hitting analytics, managing profiles, digitally, B2B, C2B marketing, I understand it day in and day out. That doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to always get the job. Now, let's go on the other side of it. Trump. I do think that me being a personality and me putting my views out into the world, me being more Trump-like about my opinion, might be the reason why I'm able to get through the door. So, why I've never been so torn on this presidential election is because I literally see myself in both people each and every day. I watch how Trump crashes out. He's like, they're eating the cats and dogs, they're going crazy out there. You guys seen me on live enough. And if you haven't seen me, like I said, shouts out my first time and last time listeners. I sometimes say crazy shit and it's entertaining and it has a little, and it's fun and there's a little bit of truth in it, but I also understand that sometimes that can be dangerous. Like I said before, sometimes I'm Kamala where I know I have the capabilities, but sometimes the people just don't believe me. There's no reason today, be completely transparent, there's no reason today I should still be a caretaker. There's no reason today why I should be wiping ass for a living because I know I have these skills and the capability to run a marketing operation time in and time out. But what do I do when I pick the president? How am I going to make this decision moving forward? Who would Mohammed endorse? I say all this to say right now, y'all, I don't know. I don't know who the better candidate is. So I had to go through and break down some policies to try to understand where each person stands, which is why I decided to make a part 2 of this episode to kind of get a better understanding of this entire election. I think that I want to break down some of the senators. I want to break down who controls the House. I need to have a real smart conversation. So see, now look, this is me taking my Kamala approach towards the situation. My knee-jerk Trump approach on this is like, man, put your boy in. He did it once. He got you a check. Now, here's the thing. Kamala said something on Shannon Sharp that I thought was really interesting. She said that she said how frustrated she is with thinking that the stimulus checks were a byproduct of Trump's decision, because we all saw Donald J. Trump at the bottom of that check. I remember I was living on Campus Park with my nigga Justin and Lito and everything, and when that free money came in from somebody who was making no money and still to this day making no money, but it's all right, we're going to change that. 2025, we're making adult money. We got to make adult money. When that check came in, I said, yo, if this man runs for president again, this is the greatest marketing ploy. Your name being at the bottom of this check with free money is forever going to change how people view you. The hood is going to love you. And then he doubles down on it by pardoning certain rappers and entertainers, A$AP Rocky, Kodak Black. He literally came up with the perfect inner city campaign to get your attention. And at a certain point, I'm not going to lie, y'all, I fell for it. I fell victim to it. Now, what does that mean today? Can I still make the same decision? I don't know. And I want to do part 2, and I want to look at some of the factors that I think should be considered when picking your president. I don't know. I was like, how do I say this? I was wondering is there a way or a strategy in place for people to kind of pick a multiple choice test where, like a survey, where you answer a series of questions, and then through that series of questions, it lets you know who you strongly align with, not who to necessarily vote for, but just if-else statements to say who you align with. And then now at that point, you have the decision to either go against who you align with or to go with it. I think that would be the best way to go about politics. I think if presidential candidates who had to write down their views on things, not in a debate format, because I think a debate, things get messy and you got Trump up there, he's going to fucking make it entertaining, yada, yada. But I do think that if there was a way that the same way we get those same way we get our ballots. I wish there was a way you can go online and then you just kind of put your views. You answer a series of questions, and then they kind of tell you who they think you align with. Now, I do understand. I do understand that can also be easily influenced when you start having a conversation about outside influence when it comes to our presidents. But I also do think that some people just don't know. I don't think some people know and I'm not having a judicial. Oh my God, I haven't forgot the three parts of government: executive, judicial, executive, and legislative portions of government. I don't think everybody really understands that at a certain level, but I do think that we can kind of learn through surveying. I think the same approach that we take with marketing research, I think we should take with presidential or political research, and I think that that's what we will need in order to make a better tomorrow. I think the system that we have in place now is who's the loudest, who has the best marketing dollars, who can get the most entertainers standing next to them, and I think that is the absolute wrong way to go about it. I think if we can figure out a way to do a 5-10 minute test, we maybe can get a more honest view on the country, or the country's views. But yeah. Anyways, how are you guys feeling about this entire political scope? Is it hurting your head? Are you feeling good? Are you moving in the right direction? You don't have to tell me who you're voting for. As you, I realize that white folks they take that shit hella seriously. Who they vote for is kind of like talking about your dick size, which I find really interesting because black people, we just talk about anything and everything. 50 Cent said on the Breakfast Club, he said, I don't get into politics because it doesn't matter what side you stand on. The other side is so passionate either about hating you or loving you. So it's a lose-lose on every front. I think that's a very important piece of information to go by. I think as black people, I think we haven't quite learned that. I think us being just such open culturally, we have a hard time keeping some things reserved outside of our side bitches or some shit like that. But I think that 50 Cent's advice on the Breakfast Club is something that I think that we should take into practice. If it's one thing that white people have definitely managed quite well is keeping their presidential views to themselves. And I think that more black folks, not just wealthy black folks, but I just think that more black folks, if they put that into practice, I think that we will. I think that we'll start making honest decisions or honest votes about just the future. If that makes any sense. I don't really, like I said, remember, black people aren't a monolith, though. Of course. I understand. Vanessa said, I think it's showing everyone's true color. I think there's so many people who are so passionate but don't even vote. Yeah. It's very true. But also, those people are influential. If you ever play chess, you got to remember that every person, every piece on the board has some form of priority. Some pieces are more important than the other. The queen, obviously, is the most important piece on the board. The knight will be, I call it the hezzy horse, because you'll be going in one direction and then it'll just jump to another. If you play chess, the knight, the hezzy horse, you never know which way they're going. It's one of my favorite pieces because it literally said never let them know your next move is essentially what the knight does on the chessboard. So I do think, even if you're not voting, I think your opinion does hold validity, but I also do wish we had surveys so people can kind of know where they stand. We always have all these quizzes on if you guys grew up in the BuzzFeed era, BuzzFeed used to have surveys on which Friends character do you most likely align with. They used to have which microphone works best for you. We have all these surveys to sell us product, but we do not have a survey to help us make our political decisions. Hannah said, remember, black people are not a monolith. Of course, I'm only speaking for, understand, when I talk, and this is something that I have to be more transparent about. So thank you, Hannah. Correct me on this. When I talk in terms of a bell curve, right? So there's some people that are on the outside of a bell curve, but there's always that thick majority in the middle. And when I give these general statements about people, I'm generally speaking for the people in the greater portion of it. Those outliers, those exceptions, those Jordans, those Tiger Woods, those LeBron James, I'm not speaking for them because they are their own. They are 1 in a million, probably a billion type of people. Now, all the other people in between, I'm noticing behaviors and characteristics, and I just want to acknowledge them. So that's why I do want, going back to what I said, I do want more black people to either double down and become more involved with politics other than just president. But I also, if you don't know anything, just say that and just take a page out of white people's book and just don't tell them who you voting for. And it was really weird. Side note, right? Quick story time. So, I had a friend that I live with. If he's watching this, I don't want to say his name. Let me see. Let me think about this story. Is this story offensive? Is this story disrespectful? If I say this person's name, look, you guys are watching me learn as I go, right? Shit. I will say, you guys are gonna know. I lived with 2 people, right, at one point, and it was coming up right during a presidential era, and it was me, my nigga Chris, and my other 2 roommates, right? And this was the prime COVID era. And we would sometimes sit down in the living room or the kitchen, and we'll talk politics to our greatest ability. Granted, everybody has different scales of understanding politics, and everyone has a different understanding. However, when we sat and had these conversations, when it got to the point of who are you going to vote for, my other 2 roommates never said who. Now, understand, I'm going to be completely transparent. We didn't really know each other at that capacity to the scales of where we know each other today. So I do understand why they didn't say anything. But for some reason, deep down, I took that shit so offensive because I sometimes assume that people lived under the same standards that I live by. And I realized it doesn't really work like that. So I was almost offended that they didn't want to tell me who they were voting for. But now that I look back, I was like, I see why they kept it reserved because they're like, we most likely have different opinions. And instead of us trying to go back and forth about things that maybe, even if they did know a lot about it, I didn't, I would still be having a passionate conversation about something I know nothing about. So, yeah, Muhammad personally, I find that as I look back in hindsight, there's some things that I should have just kept to myself. And if there's something I did learn from that very moment to keep some things to yourself, sometimes black people walk in your house and be like, yo, how much is your rent? Sometimes white folks don't even really do that. That's something that I think black culture, I'm not going to say black culture, but I think that's something that me being an open book sometimes kind of backfired on. I don't know. But that is something I'm working on. I'm working on being an open book, but being reserved at the same time because I can't be the open book at the same capacity that I once was because you know why? There's people who depend on me on a daily basis, which takes me back to my root question that we talked about before, which is what does a man being to you and where do the beliefs come from? And being a man to me is you have to have a little bit of reservation. I think if you're a little too open all the time, you're a child. You have to move a little bit of grace. You have to move a little bit of poise in order to get ahead in life. And that's something that I never had to apply until more recent, So, yeah. Especially now, not just a boy dad of 1, but I got another one coming on the way. So I really have to learn how to polish all the things, all of my good behaviors of being a man, make my good behaviors stronger and completely eliminate the bad traits that I had about myself. Let me see. He's a dad of 2 now. Yeah. White people are actually very about the beliefs, maybe not socially, but families for sure. Black people tend to gloss over things. Yeah. It's very true. And Hannah. I got another one coming in February. So 2 boys. You already know what it is. Arlo. I got Ablo and I got Arlo. We keeping the A's consistent and everything. So, yeah. That's all I really had for today. This was this conversation, just making sure you guys know how to manage, just learning how to go about picking the right president or going about how to be just how to be knowledgeable when it comes to politics, and also for my guys out there, learning what does it mean to be a man to you, and learning, trying to figure out where those beliefs come from, and then also trying to understand how vulnerability takes place on a daily basis. I think if all these things, these were kind of the things we covered today, I think moving forward, I'm always going to open with a big picture therapy question, and then after we maneuver, we can kind of hone in on topics more directly. But it feels good to be back in front of a mic. I just got off of my caretaking job. I'm tired of shit, and I got another job to get to in 30 minutes, and I have no idea how far it is. So, listen, you guys stay happy. You guys stay optimistic. Thank you for those who are tuning in with me. I appreciate you. I love you. You guys have a great Saturday, and keep rocking out in the free world. I'm out of here. I'll catch y'all later. We are done. Da, 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 da.